So it was an absolutely outstanding sunrise this morning. Although we have all the comforts one could ask for in this little cabin, we tend to like to be outside as much as we can. So we live outside. We use this to eat, get out of inclement weather, to sleep. So I was able to capture that beautiful sunrise. Anyway, we were working on the video episode for this week and realized it's our 50th. And it's been just about exactly 1 year. And we thought we'd take this opportunity to thank the people that have supported us and seen our little channel, our little effort, step back in time effort grow. So it was our oldest son, Shane, who suggested, Dad, you should film some of that crazy living history stuff you're always doing. And so began the Woodland Escape. And for the first few months, we had a couple of thousand views maybe in 2 or 3 months, and we were pretty excited about that. But last month we broke 30,000 subscribers, and now we're coming up to 2.5 million views. So to say that we're blown out of the water would be a huge understatement. And so we really want to thank people for that. One of the highlights for us is reading the comment section, and it's how we start our day, with a cup of coffee and read the comments. And it's been interesting to get the feedback from people. It encourages us, gives us the energy to keep doing this. But one of the most fascinating parts of the comment section is the people sharing their stories with me. So I might have mentioned my 99-year-old grandmother at one point, and she was born in 1872, and some of the stories she'd tell me. And then I get a flood of comments coming back from people sharing their stories of their grandparents with me, which is it's quite a hoot, actually, quite a hoot. Anyway, this afternoon I'm going to be putting more of our fall harvest down in the root cellar. And it got me thinking about happiness, and it is a good feeling when one gets the root cellar full, etc. And I thought if a pioneer could rewrite the definition for Webster's dictionary for the word happiness, it would be first and foremost a healthy family, a roof over their head, a full woodshed, followed by a full woodshed, a full food and meat cache, and a full root cellar. And that definitely would be happiness to a pioneer. Sort of seeing the culmination of their work for a year and being prepared to go into winter, which we're on the cusp of now. So I'm going to finish polishing up these guns, and again, a big thank you to everybody that supported our little endeavor. Thank you. The harvest continues. We've got our onions picked today, our squash, the carrots. So the carrots are going in the root cellar. Onions and squash are going in the basement. We're going to harden them off 7 to 10 days. These guys like to be put in the sun. If you puncture them now with a fingernail, you actually penetrate the skin. You harden them off for about 10 days in the sun, and it becomes almost impenetrable. We clean them off, and then we wipe them down with vinegar, and that kills any bacteria on them, and they'll last right through to gardening, eating fresh vegetables next spring. So, yeah, again, back to if we think about food security, wee bit of history. So in the Second World War, they called them, the government started a program called Digging for Victory. Became commonly known as the Victory Gardens. So they set the example by plowing up all the parks in England, right in London, England, and planting foodstuffs. Food was scarce. A lot of stuff was rationed. You needed stamps for it. And by the end of the Second World War, it would be pretty hard pressed to find a blade of grass in all of the United Kingdom. It was also done in Canada because we had food shortages here as well. Anyway, it's a good feeling when you can grow your own stuff and put it down. And just as a comment, you might look around my garden and say I'm one lazy gardener, given the prolific amount of weeds growing. But my dad used to have a saying when I was growing up on our small dairy farm, and we had a humongous garden. And as a 10, 12, 14-year-old boy, my primary job in the summer was weeding that garden. But he had a saying. He said at some point, he said the labor extended isn't worth the effort. There's no payback or no return. So he felt once crops, for example, that cabbage there, it's come to full head. That's our winter cabbage. We're waiting a while to harvest that. Once it was there, he said there's no sense weeding it anymore. It's just going to mature and harden off. And I'll tell you, when he came out with those words, it was the sweetest words one could ever hear, because I knew, man, a few weeks till school started and I had the rest of the summer off. So anyway, we're going to get this stuff put down, and a few more things to harvest. We've got turnip. We need a hard frost for that. Got a lot of them. We've got some really good winter cabbage to harvest yet, and I accidentally harvest one parsnip there, but we leave the parsnip till it freezes off as well. Anyway, lots of food for the winter. Oh, one last thing. This plant, I don't want to touch those peppers because they're the hottest thing on this planet. So I dug it out by the root, and I have a brother-in-law. I swear to God, if you fed him fire for supper, he'd thank you. So I'm going to deliver that and gift it to him. But I'm going to carry it in like that. He can do whatever he wants with those bad boys, but they are hot. When we're putting food down in our root cellar for the winter, we do 3 sorts of all of our produce. So the first sort is the good keepers, so there's no blemishes, we haven't cut them, there's no cracks in them like this one. So ones that look like they're going to go pretty quickly, well, they're on the fire right now, bubbling up for a carrot soup. And my sister Pat's recipe, it's fantastic. Anyway, so then the cracked ones, they'll go in the second sort for ones we'll use first. And then the good carrots that we've got in here, they'll be our winter produce. Now I'm going to get these packed up. I've got 3-4 rows in this guy, and we use peat moss. You can use sand, you can use sawdust, but we found peat moss is a really effective way of preserving food over the winter. It works well in the root cellar, and then it's also reusable. Not as heavy as sand, works pretty good. So I thought I would spiff up my outhouse here a wee bit. So I made my latch out of a piece of old cherry, and I whittled out a piece of walnut here, give it a little bit of pizzazz. Anyway, me and Doris, we don't see eye to eye. I've built, let's see, 4 log houses. I've built our own home, workshops, barns, drive sheds, and I've never had a door fit the first time, ever. And this one was no exception. So yeah, I got to do some fine tuning on it, but we'll get it working. I try to build them too tight. I guess I'm trying to get it airtight, keep the snow out in the winter. Anyway, as I mentioned earlier, we get a big kick out of some of the comments our people that have subscribed to our channel have made. And talking about outhouses, one fellow, I think from New York, sent a comment saying that there's a house near him that has an attached outhouse to the house, and it actually has 6 holes. So my 2-holer pales by comparison. Yeah, so it's 6 holes. He said it had 2 large, 2 medium, and 2 small. That kind of fit all the members of the family there. And another one that, because I read the comments first thing in the morning, and Kathy and I get quite a chuckle out of some of them. One of the guys says he was 12 years old before he realized his name wasn't Get Wood. I can just see, yeah. Anyway, I digress. I've got to get back at my building here. This will be hopefully the last day of the outhouse build. Sort of had to rush this project a bit because this weekend we're going to be hosting the 49th Regiment of Foot for an encampment here. So yeah, I should have built the outhouse and then built the cabin, but I got the order mixed up. Anyway, it's going to be done today, and again, that old saying, waste not, want not. Rather than fell another tree and get more boards on, I decided to take the slabs that we cut off them and rip them so for my battens, and that's working out pretty good. So yeah, with any luck, this will be done. I got the roof finished, a little work to do on the inside, and got to get that door to fit.